Hello friends, welcome to software learning tutorial. Myself Ankit Prajapati, I am creator of these video presentations. I have more than 7 years of experience working as a software service engineer for different domains and customers. I would like to thank you all for watching my first video and giving your feedback about the software testing part 1, which I have covered all the fundamentals of the manual testings and bit about the automation testing. In this presentation, we are going to cover some basics about SSMS, database creations, bit about database schema, and few practical steps about the same. This is the first video of SQL operation series, so I would like you to watch the other parts as well for the different operation like database backup, restore, and how you can shrink the database operations, right? And to stay updated with the new videos, you can subscribe to my channel Software Learning Tutorial SLT, and you will get the update of all the new upcoming videos on the software operations and other things as well. Please make sure this video presentation is divided into two parts. First will be the theory part, which is the core presentation itself, and second things will be the practical part. I will show you the actual demo of the operation that we are going to cover in these presentations. Okay, so let me take you to the agenda that we are going to cover today. These are the agenda that we are going to cover today. What is SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, how you can create the database using both the way, using the script and from the GUI wizard as well. What is database schema, how you can generate the script, and yeah, of course the practical demo and the references that I have taken from. So let's first talk about the SSMS. If you are the experienced professional, then you must be aware about this, but for fresher this will be useful information to keep in mind when you work on the SSMS for the SQL database. So SSMS is the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, which is integrated environment to manage the SQL Server infrastructure, right? This is a tool which is provided by the Microsoft. You can manage, administering and configure the SQL Server infrastructure, different component and features using this particular tool. This was launched by Microsoft in June 2005, and the latest version was around December 2017. This is the particular tool that contains both script editor and graphical wizard as well for doing the different operations and working with the different object and feature of the server. You can see the basic core information on screen, like what are the different server types which are supported by the SSMS, the service which is used for the SSMS, the MS SQL server. So I will show you how you can find that service in your computer as well. The different additions that are available in the market for the SQL server. Currently we are going to use the Express one, which are free for the demo and testing purpose. There are the list of the operating system which supported by the SSMS. You can find the many more as well, but this might be compatible with the different version. So if you want to see which SSMS version is compatible for which OS, you can just Google that topic. It will give you the more information about that. Okay, so this is the basic things about the SSMS, right? And this is the not the open source, this is a Microsoft product. So just keep in mind, if someone will ask you, yeah, you can use the free version, which is the Express one, for your learning and testing purpose. Okay, so in the next screen we are going to talk about the different key component of the SSMS. So I have taken the screenshot of the screen, so you can see the different parts of the complete SSMS screen over here. You can see the first part which contain the menus and tools and the different shortcuts which we normally use while working on the SSMS. You can click on the execute button, you can debug the queries, you can select the database, you can go for the new queries, you can cut, save, and each few operations that you can manage from the menus bar, right? The second part will be the object explorer, which is the core of this particular component. You can see the database name, the security, the management, the replication database over here, right? So you can see the core information under the object explorer. You can also see the server name, the Ankit P, and the instance that we are using to connect this server is SQL Express. The third part is the query writer, where you can write your query by selecting the particular database, right? And at the fourth part, you can see the result of that particular query that you have fired on the third part, and you can see the result at the bottom and how many rows has affected and how much time it takes to run that particular query. The fifth part is very useful for the fresher, right? The template explorer, which build and manage the file of text that can be reused to speed up the query and the script development. So over here you can find the predefined queries from the SQL side, from the Microsoft side, which you can use to create your own queries. We are not going to depth in the template browser. This is the predefined stuff that we have from the SSMS. So you can learn, you can install the Express version and you can learn from that particular queries. The sixth part is the property of that particular selected database. So you can find the query string over here. You can see the connection information over here, like what is the current state of this particular open SSMS and the start time of the SSMS and all those things, right? So these are the key component of the SSMS. You can see on the screen. So if you have already seen this screen, then you must be aware about that. But for the fresher, this is the things where you normally perform all the operations. So in the next slide, we are going to cover how to create the database, right? So you can see on the screen, I have attached the two things. You can create the database using the GUI wizard, and you can also create the database using the SQL script. So from the GUI wizard, you need to just right click on the database and click on the new database. And if you want to go with the SQL script, you need to just write down create database name and go. This is the first operation that we are going to learn in this tutorial, and I will show you the practical demo after this presentation as well. So in the next slide, we are going to talk about the database schema. I have included this particular topic because it is very useful to know what is the database schema when you are working on the databases, right? So, and also our next operation, the database script creation, will help us to understand what is the database schema and why it is important. So what is schema? The schema of the database system is the structural descriptions in the formal language supported by the database management system. The schema refers to the organization of data as a blueprint and how the database is constructed and divided between the database tables and how their relation is created internally. A database schema can be represented in a visual diagram which shows the database object and their relationship with each other. So this is nothing but the core of the database, where you cannot see the actual data, but you can see the relationship between the two tables and how they are working internally. The schema is nothing but is a container of the different object. When I say the different object, it can be contain the logical group objects such as tables, view, store, procedures. And the key purpose of keeping the schema in your database is when you are working on any group or any big organization where you need to define the policy based on the database. You can create the policy for the HRs, for the account team, and you can apply the policy accordingly based on the schema, right? So that will cover the most of the things that the authorized access you want to give to particular team. So for that you need to create the database schema for each and every department of the organizations. So the next part is how you can generate the database script, right? This is again very useful topic, how you can generate the database script. If you are working as a developer, then you must be aware about the importance of these particular operations, right? So when you generate the script, there are three options you need to make sure. Either you can generate the script with only data, or you can generate the script with only schema, or you can generate the script with both data and schema. So this is very useful for the developer, for the tester as well, when they want to view the schema and the data available in particular database. Then you can just go and generate the script. For the time being, you can also have the options to select. I will show you that option in the practical demo, how you can generate the script. And these are the few references I have taken from to create this particular video presentations, right? So thank you for watching these presentations, and if you like, then you can share and subscribe to my learning channel, software learning tutorial. And wait, it is not over yet. Practical demo, it's still there. So let's go to the practical demo, and I will show you the SSMS, how you can create the database and the different components of it. So you can see on the, let me just close it down. I will open it again. So you will have the login screen and how you can connect to the different database engine. Okay, over here it says connect to the server, right? You need to enter the service type. That should be the database engine and the Azure server and many more that we have seen in the presentations. You can select the server name. Over here is the Ankit P is the server name, and SQL Express is the instance of that server. The authentication type, there should be the two-way authentication, Windows and SQL. I have kept as SQL authentication over here. Then you need to put the login username. That should be the default username for the SQL is the SA, and the password that I have resetted during the installations. And I will click on the connect. So that will give me the list of the database I have created for the testing purpose, right? So let's first go with the creating the new database. So I will right click and just click on the new database. This screen will ask me to give the database name. So I will say demo1, and this will create the logical files for the logs and for the database actual purpose. So you can also define the initial size, and this concept will help us when we go to the shrink database operations, right? So you need to provide a database name. If you want to give, if you need to authorize to particular owner, then you can select from over here. You can select the owner name over here, and you can select that particular user from over here as well. The other option will be the no need to go in depth the other option. You can just keep as default one, the recovery model and compatibility level and all those things. The file group also will be the as it is. Then you can just click on the OK. So once you click on the OK, you can see the demo database over here, right? So this is how you can create the new database. And once you right click on this, you can just go to the property, and you can see the same informations. What is the name, what is the status, who is the owner of the database when it is created, size and the space available, number of users, and you can see the file group where the logs are getting generated for this particular database, the permissions that has for this particular database, the property and all those things, right? And we are going to talk about how you can just create the database using the script now. So this is very easy to create the database. So the script that we have seen, it's simple: create database demo 1 via script and go. You can simply write this down and you can just create the database, right? But I would like to request you, if you are a fresher and if you want to keep the good script learning habits, then just include the few of the things like this way. Just put the print over here and says database creation started. And this will help you to tell the systems, first print these things, then go through the operations and just put the another things as well over here. Creation completed. Now if you want to add some more information over here, then what you can do, I want to just make sure who has created this database and what is the server name and the time when the database is created. I want that things to be printed on the screen. So what I will do is I will say print server name, and that should be the object called server name over here. So this will you can use to print the server name on the screen. The next things I want to print is the user. Who is the user who has created this database? So I will say user name, or the action taken by the user. So for that I will say system user, and yeah, that's fine. We can print all those things information. And if you want to put some good design over here, you can just go and just says and what I will do, I will just copy this part and just put over here. Okay, so the core information is this one, the create database demo 1. But if you just this is the basic things, you can add more information over here as per your requirement. But this is how you should write the script. This will help you to manage the information. You can also add the comment over here by saying printing the system information, right? So this will be easy for someone who is new to the database, who is non-technical person, to understand the query. Actual script to create database. So it's always good to keep the good habits when you working on any technology. Just try to improve yourself by putting the new things on your script, right? So let's we just go and click on the execute button. Okay, and this will says the database has been created, right? Now if I will refresh this one, you can see the database over here, right? So it says the database created start, server name, and the operation over here has been blank, right? But that has given us without the error. That means it has created the database. So you can see the database over here as well. So this is how you can create the database. Now let's suppose you want to, let me close this one, and our next operation was how you can generate the script for the database. So what you will do, you need to select particular database. Just select the particular database, right click on it, says task, just go to the generate script. When you go to the generate script, you need to get the option script entire database and all the database object, select specific object. If you click on the select specific object, this will give you the name of the tables and the store procedure available in it. So I will say I need only customer master, delete and install customer and update customer, and I will go to next. This will ask me to give where I need to save the database. I need to save in the SQL file itself. I need to save in the clipboard, that means in the SQL itself. I need to save in the new query window. I will say I need to save this to the particular location. I will say the desktop. I will say test script, and the types should be always SQL. Now once I will go to the advanced. If you remember, we have covered the topic about the database schema, and that's why I have covered that particular topic. This will let you know what you need to generate in the script, the data only, the schema and data, or the schema only. So I will say schema and data in this particular case. I will say okay. I will go next, and just wait for a few minutes, and it will generate the script for me. So it says prepare, delete, insert, update and customer, and save the file. So I will finish these particular things. Now I want to see how it has created this particular script. So I will just open this in the SQL. It will says it has created the schema. This is what I would say is the schema is the core definition of the tables, right? And at the bottom, if you will see, you can see the there is no data in particular table so far, so you are not able to see the actual data, but this is how you can see the script and related data in that particular database. Okay, so far we have covered the two operations, how you can create the database and how you can create the new database, and how you can create the script using the generate script options, right? So one of the key things that you need to make sure when you working on the generate script, right, if you are aware about how the database backup is work, in the database backup you can refer my second video about the database backup and their different types. But in the database backup, you can see we normally backup the complete database with the schema and the database, and the same operation when we do the generate script, it will give us the same informations. So what is the difference between these two operations over here? So this is the key things that you need to make sure when you working with the different operation of the SSMS. The difference between these two operations is that the script generated via generate script will be the SQL language. If you have seen, it only allows us to save the output in the SQL format, while the data or the file gets generated using the database backup, it is in the binary format, that is the binary files. Database backup should be scheduled based on the requirement and not on the regular basis, but the generate script can be generate script operation can be done in term of the emergency, in term of the troubleshooting, in term of the finding out any bug or something like that. So you can also select the specific tables and the key you required from the database during the generate script. So this is the core difference between the generating the database script and the database backup. Okay. And one more thing, I have the detailed PDF about what I have just covered in these particular presentations. So if you want me to give that PDF, you can just write down your email address in the comment box and I will share that particular things with you. If you have liked this video, then please like, share and subscribe to learning channel software learning tutorial for more video like this. And thank you for watching, and bye and take care.